Hey, folks, listen, we're going to have a good time here tonight. So just sit back, kick your shoes off, relax, and put the kitties to bed because it's time once again for late night with Hebrew and Sagi. Oh my God, guys, what's going on? It is late night with Hebrew and Sagi, and I'm your host, Hebrew77, along with Sagittarically speaking, or as he likes to go by nowadays, is just simply Sagi. Sagi sounds like a spice, by the way. But no, man, did you ever notice that your name sounds like a spice right now?
And well, I was thinking of making like a rock group. I was going to call them the Saggy Bottom Boys.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I was thinking might be a good idea. So, how you doing today, brother? How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. I just realized how cold things can get within the blink of an eye. Like you can have it up to 70 degrees during the day, and the next thing you turn around, and all of a sudden it's down to 35 where I'm at. And I tell you what, man, you go outside, you do your workouts, and then you notice the cold, and you notice the difference as soon as you step inside your apartment or your house or your hut, whatever the case may be. You notice the difference right away from warm to cold. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And it's funny you mentioned that because I just got how you get a weather notification on your phone or whatever. It was telling me it's going to be 12 degrees colder tomorrow. Guess what the temperature is going to be tomorrow?
12 degrees colder.
Well, yeah, which will be for me will be 76 degrees.
Holy moly! I wish it was 76 degrees out here.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm looking forward to it.
That sounds really good, brother. Well, I'll tell you what, I appreciate the fact that you're Battle Cat because, if you were Skeletor, I would have to fight you, and I don't want to fight you.
Oh yeah, I don't want us to have to fight. We I think that would ruin the dynamics of the show if we were like at each other's throats the whole time.
That might make it kind of interesting, might get us more ratings, but it wouldn't be natural. It'd be like sort of a skit.
Yeah, it'd be hard to keep it going for a long time. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It'd be like Ja Rule and 50 Cent or something.
Oh yeah. Or hey, Cisco and Ebert.
Yeah, spy versus spy.
Yeah. Who else can I throw in there?
Superman and Lex Luthor. Would you rather be Superman and Lex Luthor or Tango and Cash? You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, that would be kind of cool if we were Tango and Cash. Then that way
they don't always get along, but they figure it out in the end.
Oh, that's what I was getting ready to say, man. It's like they're kind of like those guys. They're like, oh, I don't like this guy. What an asshole this guy is, and one guy's rich and the other guy's like poor or whatever, and they don't get along, but they do get along. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's the secret to their success.
Right. Oh, that's a good movie, by the way. The Secret to My Success by Michael J. Fox.
All right.
Did you ever
We're
see
all
that?
over the board. We need to take our ADHD medicine. Hold on, I'll be right back.
I know, right? Lorraine Lamour says we're more like Cagney and Lacey.
Well, the way we keep patting each other on the back, you would definitely think we're bosom buddies.
Yeah. Right? Oh, man. No, I tell you, I think we've done a bunch of shows where we've done quite a few back patting.
right?
I think we need to cut that shit out and just straight up be like, "Hey, man, you did a shitty job.
Yeah, you
You're
need to pick up your slack, man. I'm telling you, I'm tired of carrying this show.
right." And be like, and then you would say that to me. Let's just say, okay, you would say that to me, and then what would I say back to you? I'm getting tired of you constantly interrupt me all the time, pal.
Yeah, I know, right? And you're always running last minute, like we're ready to go live, and you're like, "Let me make some coffee."
Right. I was like, hey man, we do have one wait, and you're like, fuck them. They can wait.
Yeah.
no, no, man. No, but no, we have fun though. But we do have some serious topics to cover here tonight. But it ain't like this is one of our more serious shows. It's more of a simplified show, broke down into comedy in the first half an hour and a half, maybe, or and then followed by a slight bit of truth, and then towards the middle of the show, like the hour 30-minute mark, we start actually sharing stuff.
Oh, is that how it's going to work? Because I was thinking of that like more like uh, the next 15, 20 minutes. I don't know that I can carry on and be. I haven't been working on my stand up comedy material, so I don't know if I have an hour's worth.
Oh man. Well, you obviously have an hour's worth, I think, because you know you can pick out any subject matter whatsoever, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
You know?
that is a true statement. I haven't came across something that has faulted our ability to talk about it.
Well, you know, it's just like a bolt of lightning. You ain't always gonna have a bolt of lightning, but when you do, it strikes just at the right time.
Well, yeah, that's true. Uh, so, I was telling you about this show before we went live. I figured let's go ahead and talk about it.
Oh man, you're gonna really just drag it out like that, are you?
Yeah, because they said in that you said bolt of lightning, it made me decide to go ahead and do that because
Uh-huh.
the odds of winning the remember the Monopoly McDonald's Monopoly game.
Yes, I do. I used
Uh,
to participate quite a bit in it. And most of the time, I would just end up winning fries or, a Big Mac or a large Coke or something.
right,
But
it was pretty common that you would win something like that, like
right,
almost every day, really, a hash brown or a free coffee or whatever, a large drink, right?
sure.
And that really made sense from a marketing point of view because odds are when you come in to pick up the hash brown, you're going to go ahead and pick up a sandwich too and spend some money, right?
Absolutely. Just like, you can't just win a double cheeseburger and go, oh, I'm just going to get my free double cheeseburger, nothing else. Yeah.
Exactly. And sometimes I would even save up. I would save up two or three, a fry and a drink, and all I had to do is go in there and buy a sandwich, and I felt like I was really getting over, like I was getting a great value that day, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I would definitely spend the extra money if it meant I was going to get extra game pieces because I knew the game pieces were probably going to at least do that for me, right?
You're making me hungry for two double cheeseburgers and a large fry.
Well, they have all kinds of food delivery service now. It's probably right at the last minute. You could probably squeeze one in here right before
I
they
don't.
close and everything. I don't know what time McDonald's is closing, on COVID hours.
Yeah, I think they're closed right now in my area.
Gotcha. Well, anyway, back to the story.
Back to
The
the
show is
story.
called the show is called McMillions, and it's about the FBI gets a tip that a particular family has won several of the grand prizes, like 3 or 4 large grand prizes, like a car, a boat, a large cash prize. A lot of times you could win up to 50 or $100 million.
Hmm.
But nobody hardly ever won the big prizes. But I'm just started watching the show. But anyway, it looks like it's a series. It's kind of like a documentary, and it's about apparently a particular person learned how to crack the game, learned how to beat it. I think they were trading pieces with people across the country. I'm not really sure because I just remember that being the rumor of how people would beat it. But it starts off with the FBI getting an anonymous tip that a family member, like lots of family members, have won the grand prize. And at the beginning of the thing, the FBI agent's saying, "Well, it's like one in a million for you to win in the grand prize once, but for it to be a family member to win a second time, it's like 1 in 45 million, and for a third family member to win a grand prize, it would be like the odds of getting struck by lightning would be greater."
Right. I'm with you so far.
Right. So anyway, the show is going to be about how they were beating the Monopoly game. I'm going to get to find out, what really happened. I'm curious to find. I'm thinking somebody learned how to crack it, and they were, giving it to distant relatives. Somebody who's married to her brother instead of her brother. Somebody who's married to her cousin instead of her cousin, so that it wouldn't be obvious to McDonald's that the same family kept winning over and over again. Obviously, because they would even recognize that the odds were too astronomical for it to happen. But it sounds like there was a lot of cloak and dagger going on here. I'm just curious to find out how it plays out. It looks like it's going to be an interesting show.
I wouldn't be surprised if you don't want to cross Ronald McDonald because he'll kick your door down with his big old clown shoes. He'll walk in there. You think Ronald McDonald would be a nice guy and all happy, fun, go lucky, but I guarantee you, the minute he catches you cheating on the Monopoly game at McDonald's, he's going to kick down your door and be like, "Motherfucker."
I'm picturing like the end of Willy Wonka when he's like, "Good day, you lose."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, Mayor McCheese has to come out there and like drag him off of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mayor McCheese might join in and start beating you with his does he have a nightstick? I forget.
You know what? There's probably a Mandela effect in there somewhere if we went and looked for it.
I'm sure, man.
I can't remember if he had a nightstick or not. I know that they were showing the old Monopoly commercials, and the Monopoly guy looks so out of place with no monocle, being like, because on those cartoons they used to animate and make him like a live cartoon character,
Yeah, you know what? I almost did a stop animation movie about Ronald McDonald and the gang and them hanging out, and like people would come into McDonald's and they'd get all pissed off at him, and it was sort of an idea I had just the other night, as a matter of fact. It's so weird you would bring up this whole Monopoly thing.
Oh yeah, it is kind of weird. It's a weird synchronicity, eh?
Yeah,
that was me, in my Canadian style.
Oh, you said A.
It looks like you've highlighted Preliminal's comment. I see it here on the screen. Something bizarre just happened.
Yeah,
it says he's shifted back 24 hours to Wednesday night. It was Thursday the 16th all day until an hour ago. So he went into the future.
Oh, man.
He's already had tomorrow, and now he's back. He had to come back here with us. Sorry you made it all the way through tomorrow, and you had to come back here to this reality with us, man.
I know, right? Well, hey, you know what? We've got 8 people watching so far, so how appropriate would it be for one of us to give this room an appropriate shout out?
You want to draw straws?
Oh well, Hey, wait a minute. How are we going to do that? I'll tell you what. Let's draw. Pick a number between 1 and 10.
All right.
Got it.
Yep.
I mean, I've wait. I've got the number in my head. You pick it.
Oh, okay. Well, so I have 1 in 10 odds.
Yeah.
Well, shoot. Would it be something if I actually did pick it?
Yeah, it would.
Well, narrow it down. At least tell me if it's an even or an odd number.
No. You just have to guess. You just have to guess. I bet you'll get it. You'll get it.
Oh, you think so?
I think
All
so,
right,
man.
7.
Man, you were so close. It was 5. 5.
Dang.
5 was the number.
Well, I saw 77. I thought maybe.
Oh, yeah, that could be. So I guess you're giving the shout out then.
Yep, but you got to give me a second.
All right.
I was confident I was going to win, so I didn't bother bringing it up.
Ah, I see.
All right. Well, it looks like we have Lorraine Lamore. And we have Euler Greg saying, hail to all the Mandela Gators. Hi, it's good to see you, Euler Greg. And Preliminal. And last but not least, Michael Fontaine.
Michael Fontaine.
Yep, Michael Fontaine is in the house.
All right. That's awesome, dude. At some point that's going to get old.
Yeah, it will until it doesn't. Or wait.
It'll be good until it's no longer good.
Right, which it isn't yet.
No.
But when that time happens, hopefully we'll realize it and acknowledge it honestly.
Whoever stays in here the longest, not this show, but in general, I was thinking about starting to throw the wrenches back out.
If you can dodge a ball, you can dodge a wrench.
That's right. You throw them at them, and if they can dodge it properly, and the other person can catch the wrench, then they win.
Yeah, I've heard that. It's like that's one of those like understood rules of the game, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And now Preliminal just says I freaking moved back 24 hours. Now I gotta tell you, man.
He takes daylight savings time to a whole different level. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah. I gotta tell you, man. Hold on. I gotta sit back down in my chair.
It's too bad. Like all the sporting events are canceled. Because had he just turned on the TV for a minute, he could have did some stuff from Back to the Future.
Oh yeah, man. He could have placed some bets.
Yeah. I would give him some money if he would have watched one and knew a score or a horse that was going to come in.
Oh, speaking of placing bets, I'm going to go ahead and mention the contest now that we have a little bit of time here.
You mean not wait till like the last 30 seconds of the show when nobody else is here and then mention it?
Right.
Which is what we actually did yesterday because we kept forgetting to mention it.
I know it, man. It's like, okay, well, there's 2 people watching. Let's go ahead and mention the contest.
Yeah. Oh, good night, everybody.
Right. No, I got to tell you, man, we got a contest going on, folks. And if you weren't watching the previous shows, you would have totally missed out. But we have it running for a month, and I might even let it go.
Hey, wait a second. I just thought of something. Our previous contest winner is in the audience tonight. So I think that ought to be – I think that should be acknowledged because that means that everybody, if you're thinking, I can just do it later. Oh, now we got you got real competition in here tonight. If he decides he wants to take this contest seriously like he did the last one. You guys got some stiff competition.
Yeah, he did really good on that last one. Gave us our slogan.
Yeah. So, anyways, I digress. Go ahead.
Well, as you know, and this is basically circling around you. This is all you, man. This is all
Well,
you.
yeah, I know. And you know what? I'm trying to stay modest, but you got that inner ego, so you just want to be like, huh, a contest all about me. Well, ain't I the shit then? But no, no, no,
Right.
no. You gotta. You can't really be that way. It's not like I'm going to Walmart and people are asking for my autograph or anything.
Well, you never know. After this, they just might because they'll recognize you by then.
Oh, yeah, I know, right?
Nobody knows what you look like. For all they know, you look either like that floating Sagittarical sign, or you look like Battle Cat with shades on.
I know. I wonder how that would work in today's day and age. If you were in, Walmart social distancing tomorrow and you saw Tom Brady, how would you just like throw him your football and ask him to sign it and wait for him to throw it back?
Oh, you know what? That's actually not a bad idea. You know, Yo,
Have him
Tom.
catch it. Have him catch it. Wipe it down real good for you.
Yeah. Oh man, no. Well, he would have to wipe it down. What if you tossed him gloves too?
Well, he would already have gloves on. He's a professional.
Oh, okay. I got you.
He would be prepared for people to be throwing footballs at him, wanting him to sign them. You would think, or
You
he
would
probably
think.
could even hire somebody to catch it for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, brother, let me go ahead and announce the contest.
Oh yeah.
We've been talking this
Again, I never did take my ADHD medicine.
You need to go do that now. Just take the whole bottle.
All right. Yeah, I'm reading the back of it now. It says, "As prescribed," or whatever Hebrew said.
Okay, good. Yeah, you know, I always have good sound advice, man.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
haven't failed me yet, but then again, I haven't listened to one single word of it.
right. That would be on every label of everything. Just do the opposite of whatever Hebrew says, and you'll be fine. Yeah, I once told somebody.
You were going to do the contest, remember?
Oh, yeah. Um, so yeah, the contest basically is guess what Sagittarically speaking looks like, and guess what
What?
his huh?
Huh?
What?
I know. What?
If you can guess what Sagittarically speaking really looks like underneath that battle cap with the shades on, then you'll win $20,
And or second prize is,
a free T-shirt.
yeah, or an item from Teesprings that is
Yeah,
a
any item. It doesn't have to necessarily be a T-shirt. Whatever they ask for, that's what they'll get.
I was up on there looking at the page earlier this afternoon,
Mm-hmm.
and I threw in a couple new items like a yacht and a speedboat and a sports car. But it looks so cool the way it says Shifty Sunday on the side of this yacht, man. You're going to love it.
Yeah. By the way, this contest sponsored by Lorraine Lamore.
Yes.
And Lorraine Lamore will send the winner the money, and I will send the winner whatever they won off of Teesprings. And we don't have no yachts, so don't even ask. By the way, I have been checking my emails, and I haven't got anything yet.
No entries. And the thing is, they have to draw me, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. It has to be a drawing.
Right. I guess you could use crayons or colored pencils or whatever whatever medium of choice you like to get creative with. Finger paints.
That reminds me, I know Prelim's a pretty good drawer, a pretty good artist.
Yeah, he would
So
like make a Picasso version of me or something.
he very well might. Yeah, you
Yeah.
never know. But yeah, basically that's the contest. You may email me. I will put the email address up on the screen here. And
And on what was it? We decided May the. There was a date in May.
well, I'll tell you this. I think May 10th is what we
Okay.
decided on.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this. If we don't get any entries before then, I'll expand the contest and let it run until June or July, even possibly.
Well, no, I don't want to do that. If they don't put in an entry by May the 10th, then they're just SOL. Lorraine gets to keep her $20, and you don't have to give out a T-shirt because that's just dragging it. That ruins my ego. Then I have to go all that time thinking, well, why didn't nobody send in an entry? Doesn't anybody want to know what I look like? See what I'm saying? I don't have to deal with that.
Oh yeah, we don't have to mess with that.
Yeah. That'll just that's just that'll just I'll get all diva-fied. I'll be like Dan on Scared Performance then.
Yeah, you'll Diva Sagi.
Yeah, I'll start taking an hour to show up for my show.
Right. Well, you already take half an hour, so I think the contest has gone to your head to some extent.
Right.
Yeah.
And I say that with all kindness to Dan because I really do try to work on my skills to be as great of a talk show host as he is. To be quite honest with you.
Wait a minute. Well, what does that mean?
I try to improve every day.
No. I was reading Prelim's comment.
Okay.
Who's drunk?
I don't know. What's it say? Is this something about Picasso?
No, he called somebody drunkards or drunkards. Drunkards?
Drunkards? I'm not drunk. Have you been drinking?
I haven't been drinking.
No. We're just naturally drunkardness, I guess.
I don't know. He said it to someone, and he said he was leaving.
All right.
So I don't know. But
well, it sounds like he's been having a rough 24 hours, so I'm willing to cut him some slack.
Yeah, I will. Okay, but
I hope things work out for him. I hope he's all right.
Yeah, I'm hoping that he enters the contest. I sent the email up there. He asked for my email. I don't know. You never know.
Based on his earlier message, he's had a rough 24 hours.
Yeah.
So if I felt like I just shifted back from the day before yesterday, I would feel a little bit like, the day after tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, speaking of the day after tomorrow, I think one of the things that's going on is people are watching a lot of the day after tomorrow things. They're watching the day after tomorrow. They're watching what was the other one we mentioned? Contagion. Yes.
Yeah.
They're watching a lot of end of the world movies. That's something that went up here lately.
Yeah, I know. I don't see the logic in it. I almost watched I Am Legend again the other day, though, I have to admit. But that's just a good movie all by itself. It just happens to have end of the world catastrophe mixed in with it.
Right. Hey, have you ever seen that show? There was a show on Fox a couple of years ago. I think it's been 2 years ago by now, called Last Man on Earth. And
I remember it. I gave it a couple watchings. I didn't stay with it though.
I think it might have been Will Forte.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I remember watching a few episodes of it.
Well, the synopsis is that he's the last. He thinks he's the last man on Earth. At the beginning of the show, we see him doing all kinds of crazy things, going to stores, buying stuff for him.
Well, yeah. Basically, the world is his oyster, right?
Right. Yes, exactly. But then as the show progresses, we see that there are other people left alive. There's people that drive. I think there's one group that drives up, and he sees them driving up, and he's actually kind of disappointed that there's more people. There's people now because he
Right.
basically was running place all by himself, and now all of a sudden he's got to share it with people.
All right. Yeah, I can see how that. In a way, that's there's a lot of some symbology in that because when you're that you can actually kind of have like like an only child is not has never had like sisters or brothers or anything like that, and then they grow up to be like almost in their teens, like 11, 12, or 13, and then all of a sudden a baby comes, or more family, siblings, or you through marriage you have stepbrothers and stepsisters and stuff like that. That child has a hard. As excited as he is about having a new brother or sister, he's also dealing with a lot of complex emotions because he's used to being never having to share, never having to give in, never having to compromise, never always being the center of attention. And all of a sudden now there's all that stuff. The dynamics have totally changed, and he's not really after a while not so fond of the idea anymore.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you get a new sibling coming in, and they're just like the new sibling gets all the attention, which I think is what you were saying.
Well,
And
even if they don't get it all, now they get the attention is being divided, where never before was all this division occurring.
right. Yeah, and that's exactly what's going on with today's society also. It's like,
Exactly. That's where I was going to
yeah,
go next. Is a lot of people are sitting at home before everybody else did. I was busy working. No, I'm just kidding.
well, that's actually true. I mean, you were just kidding about it, but I have heard a lot of that. Like this one lady on Facebook said her husband. She's like, "Well, what are we supposed to do?" It's like I work at the store all day, and by the time the store is closed, I'm off work and I can't buy anything. And then my husband, he's at work and he comes home, and it's like by the time he comes home, it's too late to go to any of the stores. So he's like, "How are we supposed to get our stuff?" You know?
Right? Yeah.
But yeah,
It's crazy today. I don't know. It just seems like every time I've been doing the get groceries delivered, and it's like every time something that you could never think would happen always happens. Like there's always some type of um, malfunction. Something goes wrong with the order. Like you can't get all the items you need, or this happens, or that happens, or you're going. Sometimes you have to wait. 3 or 4 weeks ago, I had to wait almost a whole week for an order to get here, and today I placed an order, and it's coming the same day. But guess what? They take it to the wrong house.
uh-huh.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, make a long story short, life has never been such an adventure, and all I'm doing is staying at home.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you have your own little adventures. I think we all do. I went to the dollar store earlier today, one of the dollar stores I frequent at, and it's funny because I was thinking, I'm down to my last package of paper towels. I thought, well, it's no big deal. I'll just get some while I'm out at the store. And usually, here's the funny thing. Usually I go there, they're all out of toilet paper, but they always have plenty of paper towels. But today I go there and just the opposite happened. They had zero paper towels, but they did have toilet paper.
All
Now
right.
go figure that one out, you know?
Yeah. It was. I mean, I have to admit, the first time I went to the grocery, and since this whole lockdown thing started, and I saw how bare the shelves were. There wasn't one piece of produce, and there certain things were just gone. Like you couldn't buy rice, you couldn't buy beans, you couldn't buy bread, you couldn't buy milk. I'm like, all those years that you come in a supermarket and they're really good about filling any little gap. They don't want you to see one little missing item on. They restock the shelves, restock the shelves. They're real big on that.
Restock them, and sometimes they're even overstocked. And
yeah. Like if you barely breathe on the box, it's hanging on so close to the edge, it'll fall right off.
Right? Yeah, I've done that before. I was at an Aldi one time, and I went in there and I pulled off this olive oil, and the olive oil was in one of those cutout boxes. You know how Aldi has everything in cutout boxes,
right?
And so I pulled it out of there, and I didn't hear a crash or nothing. I walked away. About 5 minutes later, I walked back down that aisle because I forgot something, and the guy looked at me funny, and I was like, thinking in my head, well, why is he looking at me like that? He's like, were you the last person to be down this aisle with grab the olive oil? I go, I don't think so. I go,
all right, now is what I want to hear your best Urkel. Did I do that?
No, I ain't doing that because oh man, it's been so long. Hold on. So the guy asked me, so it happened, but I didn't hear a crash or nothing. And I was like thinking, how in the world could that whole box of olive oil dropped on the floor and broke into a million pieces if I never even touched it? I mean, I did touch it. I pulled it out of the box, but I'm looking at him going, now wait a minute. I was there, yes. I pulled out some olive oil. Yeah. But it had been quite a few minutes since I've been down there.
Right.
I was trying to explain this to this dude, but he wasn't trying to hear it. He just went on.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Well, in that situation, the best thing to do is just walk away. In his reality, he's got to sit there and clean it up no matter what. So, yeah, not olive oil and stuff. That's hard to get up off the ground. It takes some effort. It's like it wants to just keep spreading and spreading and spreading.
Yeah, the best way to deal with oil spills is to dab. You can just take a towel or something and just dab it, and eventually it'll come up. But you can't use soap and water right away. You have to just dry it up first. Otherwise, you know how it is with oil on the floor.
Right. Yeah, that reminds me of a totally different but semi-related story. But I used to drive a school bus and take Head Start kids to school. And I had a girl. Yeah, I think I've told this story before, but maybe I don't know. But I had one girl that would get car sick, and she was the first girl I picked up, and definitely on Monday and Tuesday, it was for sure. We would give her a paper bag or something, a puke bag or whatever, but because if she wasn't going to make it. She wasn't going to make it all the way to school. Later, I ended up changing my route, where she was the last person I picked up and the first person I dropped off. But for that first few weeks of school, there was a couple times when she didn't make it in the bag. And when you're driving a bus up and down hills and there's puke on the floor, it goes all the way to the back and all the way to the front. It's not a pleasant thing.
Oh man, yeah. Well, you guys did you not have sawdust?
Yeah, I mean we had that, but it only works if you catch it. Like if it's not like she's going to speak up and say, "Hey, I just puked." She's going to try to play it off like, maybe they won't notice.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I never done anything like I never drove a bus or I never was a bus attendant. But I knew quite a few janitors, and I know that they always used to use the sawdust, like either right after it happened or about an hour or so later. Otherwise, it's it could be a terrible situation.
Yeah, it was. We had some type of I don't know. It kind of reminded me of kitty litter, but it wasn't kitty litter. It was some type of crystallized thing that we would throw down, and it did pretty much the same thing. I don't even know what it was called. But anyway, do you want to start sharing some of our stuff?
Yeah, just give me 1 second here. I'm writing to Michael Fontaine. He said his phone was lagging. And also, while you were telling your story, Euler Greg was talking about negative energy. He said, I always try to be positive. Negative energy affects me. And I said, because he mentioned something about getting negative energy headaches. And I said, even though I misspelled it, I said negative energy definitely can make a person physically ill. Like they can, if this whole room is full of negative energy, for example, and you and I are really arguing, I mean, like really for real.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I can get consumed by negative energy too. It can actually. I'll get an eye twitch if I get stressed out off of some negative energy, like somebody in the room or in a situation or in a work environment where there's just like way too much negativity going on around me. Yeah, my eye will start twitching.
Uh-oh. We lost your brother.
Bad. I had my other window up.
Oh, okay.
I don't know when you lost me, but
I know you were talking about an eye twitch.
yeah, it would make my eye twitch if I'm in a work environment or in just any type of environment where there's a lot of negative energy. That's one way I can tell that I need to get away. That this isn't going to work for me.
Right. And often when you're in chat rooms and you see a bunch of people arguing and like literally cussing each other out and stuff, it makes you not want to be there. It's like, okay, I don't
Oh yeah, I'll just close the chat window. I don't even want to sit there and look at that.
Yeah.
I'll still listen to the show if I like the show, but if they got an out of control chat room and no moderators, there's no point in even trying.
Oh, for sure, man. Well, hey, let me go pour myself refreshing my drink, and then I'll come back with a news reporter that kind of contradicts himself in a way. I'll be right back.
Imagine that. Like I could turn on any news channel right now while he's gone, and in 30 seconds we would hear a news reporter contradict themselves. But I'm sure this is a really great example. Actually, I actually already know that it is because he shared it with me before the show. I love how he just leaves me hanging. Could have at least put on some background music or something.
I've actually thought about doing that sometimes. Like, how I leave guys to go.
Like at the drive-in, let's go into the lobby. Let's go into the lobby. That thing.
Yeah, man. I thought about if we ever do a long show, like let's say, for example, we have a 4-hour show or something. I might actually have us take breaks in between and play that music.
That would be cool.
I wonder if I would get copyrighted from. Oh, I don't care.
I don't know. Maybe it should be fair use because I don't know. We can always just make one.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Who's good at making songs is Armored Up.
Oh yeah, he could help us.
Or hey, you know what? I bet Lorraine Lamore might come up with a good going out to the lobby song. What do you I think she could do it. She's kind of got that style, sort of a singing voice.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, if we put our resources together, there's no telling what we might come up with.
But I have this reporter, and he's talking about the virus, and actually the story and I'll put a link in the chat later on as you're presenting your stuff. But it shows a picture of a guy's toe, and the toe has bruises on it. It almost looks like my toe when I broke my toe. It's all black and blue and stuff. And he says, if your toe looks all black and blue like this, it may be a sign of the coronavirus. But
Dun, dun, dun.
they kind of hit around that, oh, maybe it's sort of like smallpox or something like that, where they had pustules on the skin.
Oh, really? I mean, that's I'll even my initial reaction is just to roll my eyes at something like that. But I have been hearing reports that there is some of the doctors are saying that the symptoms equate to high altitude sickness. The way that the people aren't their lungs aren't their blood isn't getting oxygen from their lungs. And it's not like there's an excessive amount of fluid on their lungs, or there is a certain, but the kind of fluid that's on their lungs is the kind of fluid that they see in high altitude sickness. When, like, if a person is like helicoptered to the top of Mount Everest and they didn't take the 3-day trek where they slowly raise their elevation. Even then, it's still dangerous when you get that high, and you can still get sick. But if you drastically do it, like immediately in a helicopter or something like that, it's supposed to be a lot more acute and severe. And they're saying that the way that when they have patients flown in on a chopper or something, and and they've got some type of high altitude sickness, that the treatments they would use for that seem to be working better than the ventilators on like a certain percentage of the patients. Now, how much truth to that there really is, I'm not really 100% sure, because it's all coming off of different YouTube channels and things of that nature. And, I don't know who these people's credentials are. If this guy is really the guy was supposedly a doctor in a COVID ward in New York, but I don't know. So I'm just throwing it out there. Helicopter rides are awesome, especially the front seat. And I bet I've always wanted. I almost went for my helicopter pilot's license a long time ago.
Oh, you
I had
did?
a couple. Yeah, I had a couple friends who were doing it. It costed just to get the basic permit to be able to just fly a helicopter. No, the fancy, bells and whistle certificates or anything. It started out at $10,000 as people were offering a class, and I almost did it. Wish I would have.
Yeah, woulda, shoulda, huh?
Yeah, woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah. Well, getting back to the story real quick, you know how.
Yeah, I thought you were going to share a different newscast thing.
No, this is the one I'm going to share. The one we talked about backstage.
Oh, okay.
But no, if you listen to the guy, he talks about the death toll in New York.
The death what?
The death toll.
Oh, okay.
Wait a minute. Well, what did I say?
Toe.
Toe? Oh,
toe.
Like,
the death toll.
The death toll.
There was like a silent L at the end.
Oh, okay.
It's like you could almost hear it.
Yeah, I often leave out letters when I'm saying certain words, I guess.
I think it's an Illinois thing. I really do. I think that's probably how people in your neck of the woods pronounce their L's.
Could be. Could very well be. You never know.
I don't know, but it will be interesting to come visit you to get out and about and hear all the people around you talk, if that's the case or not.
Right. Well, when all these lockdowns end, hopefully soon, probably not. But when that happens, maybe that's a possibility. You can come visit me.
I know. Right now, I'm not even allowed to go visit my mom unless I'm her caregiver.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the new. Not here now, actually, where I live, but in certain places, that is actually the case.
Huh. I did not know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Can you imagine, some policeman, so so there, long haired. What are you doing out here, rustling about in my neighborhood? Well, I'm just here to see my mom. Well, the governor said you need to stay home. You need to turn around, take your butt, and get in your house. Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah. I like how you put that. I watched a video the other day of some lady chasing some people off her property, and she had a gun, and these poor people were just there.
That's pretty effective way to chase people away off your property.
Well, the way she did it though is she was yelling at them like they were dogs. She said, get, go on,
Get out of here.
get." Yeah. But it was unfortunate, and it is so sort of kind of like racial profiling.
I saw a funny meme the other day when the social distancing started. It was the guy from Mortal Kombat, the
Oh, Scorpion.
Scorpion, yeah, and it said, "Stay over there."
That's great, man. I can see that. Like, instead of using that harpoon thing that he pulls people to him, he uses it to push them away.
Yeah, instead of "get over here," it was "stay over there."
Right. Well, I tell you what, man, that's pretty good. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of. If one positive thing you could say that's come out of this whole thing is all the funny memes that have been cast around.
Yeah, I have to admit though, I can only do them in small doses because I really do start to feel dumber after having looked at so many.
Right.
I start to feel like the main character from Office after a long workday.
Yeah.
And I realize there's probably more in-depth reading that I should be doing with this quality time.
True.
It's like getting the Sunday paper and only reading the comics.
Oh, well, I know exactly what you mean. I'm not going to say that I actually did that, but
Well, we all know that you have. It's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah, I gotta say, I did do that. Of course, we don't get a paper anymore, but I'm just saying, like, read the Sunday comics, read the ads, stuff like that.
Right?
Oh. All right. So getting back to the thing I was going to share with everyone, if you hear this reporter, I'm going to play it at least 3 times, and I want you to hear what
Well,
he.
thanks for warning us.
Thanks for the warning, man. No, I do want to hear. I do want you guys to hear. What he's saying here, because well, just listen. You'll see what I mean. I'm going to play the clip, and you can hear it.
News as the total number of deaths from COVID-19 jumped overnight. The city has added an additional 3,000 victims who are presumed to have died from coronavirus but never tested positive. That pushes the death toll.
Okay, did you hear that?
Yes. Presumed to have died but never tested positive. I wonder if that guy always talks like that. Like he pulls up the McDonald's drive-thru. Yes, I would like a large fry and 3 medium Cokes.
Right.
And make sure you don't forget the pickle.
Yeah. That's
All right,
crazy.
yeah. Presumed to have died but have not been tested. And I mean, they could have just as easily presumed to have died from a car accident. They could have presumed to have died from cancer, from, I don't know, getting shot. I mean, you see the gunshot wound on his leg as he's being dragged in by the ambulance. Nah, we'll just go ahead and throw some COVID-19 stamp on that death certificate. I got it right here, and it's already got ink on it. Bam, that works.
Yeah, that seems like that's what's going on more and more. But I do want you. And immediately right after he says that, he goes back and says he just continues on with it, like he never even said. He never even said that in the first place. Just let's listen to the whole thing in its entirety real quick.
News as the
Yeah, play it one more time.
line under the word economic impact payment.
Oh wait,
Here in New York, there is grim news as the total number of deaths from COVID-19 jumped overnight. The city has added an additional 3,000 victims who are presumed to have died from coronavirus but never tested positive. That pushes the death toll here in the city to more than 10,000. The bodies are literally...
Listen to the way he's presenting it.
Yeah, he is an alarmist to the extreme. He's like, we need the alarmist guy for this stuff. Oh, we got cue cards ready. Go get that alarmist guy. You know, the guy that really can sell it. There he is. Get over here. We need you to read these. All right, go ahead, run it again.
I'll run it one more time, and it's just so funny. It's actually more funny, sad, and pathetic at the same time when you hear.
You know, I would think that the news broadcast would rather have some type of, a really calm and serene voice doing that. That would make a lot more sense. Yeah, somebody with a little empathy, of an undertone of empathy. Right. But it brings the toll down to almost 10,000 people. This is a really grim day for the state of New York. Something like that. Not the way it's like he can leave there and go call the local horse race when he's done. I don't know.
Yeah, or an auction house or something.
Yeah. or he's going to he's going to take David Blaine's. It'll whiten your whites. It'll brighten your brights.
Right. Or he could announce soccer games,
Yeah, definitely. Yep. If he can speak Spanish, he's definitely going to stay employed. All right, play it one more time.
Right.
Overnight, the city has added an additional 3,000 victims who are presumed to have died from coronavirus but never tested positive. That pushes the death toll here in the city to more than 10,000.
Now listen to this part.
Are literally piling up, being stored in refrigerated trucks like this one here at Mount Sinai Hospital. We're learning today about a new symptom of COVID-19. Doctors in Europe reporting they are seeing foot sores on a number of patients, similar to chickenpox.
Now that's the part I left out when we played it the first two times. But,
yeah, okay. Yeah, we never made it that far.
Right.
Foot sores, huh?
Yeah, foot sores.
That's interesting.
What do you suppose is going on there?
I have no idea. I don't like to make light of it because there really are people. I want people to know that they're really, if somebody out there really has a family member that is suffering from the virus, or anybody out there that really is, my thoughts and prayers really do go out to them. Absolutely. I know that it could be a scary thing to get sick and to know that you have something that nobody's ever, that there's never been experienced before. There's no known, there's no really well-known treatment or thing to help you get better. And I don't know. I don't want people to think that we are heartless and we don't take the fact of it seriously. But at the same time, you got to be able to see the humor in something, in some parts of how it's getting reported and the way that the news tries to exaggerate and over elaborate and I don't know, just it seems like the news is really just out to scare the bejeebies out of you, and I'm not okay with that.
No, I'm not okay with that as well. Euler Greg brings up the point, but many more people are dying than normal, if not the pandemic, than what's causing it. Well, it's not that more people are dying than normal. I would say
just in general, like death count is higher than what it would be if we had just carried on with our normal day, or it's just higher than normal for a virus.
Right. It's getting what it is the deaths are being more reported, like they're being more talked about. They weren't talked about before. It's like another reporter Did I
Well,
listen?
and they are definitely. I mean, it doubled overnight, Hebrew. I mean, that report that you were just playing that was big deal news, man. I mean, those numbers are even though they're minuscule compared to the original projections, that's a lot of people in one city to die overnight. I mean,
Oh
yeah, I
yeah,
think he said 3,000 something.
overnight. All right.
Yeah, I mean that is a lot, and that I think New York right now is having their peak. Like whatever is going to happen today, tomorrow, the next day, maybe even the day after that, and a few days after that, there's going to be some significant losses, and hopefully, not too many more days after that, the numbers will start rapidly decreasing.
Right.
That's real talk right there.
That's what's his name? Como? Is it Como? Has said that they
Cuomo, yeah.
he said that even though the numbers are higher and they've had their most devastating day since this thing all started, he did report that they're flattening the curve.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm not saying I never said I didn't believe there was a virus, um, but I don't necessarily agree with the fact that it's a new virus. I believe we've always had this virus, but the fact is that it got stronger. And
It's just a new strain. It's called
right,
COVID-19. 19 is the 19th mutation of the coronavirus. So apparently, you got coronavirus, which is code for cold, common cold, or it can even become um, extreme can become like a form of pneumonia or something like that. But it's a congestive it's a congestive virus. Their symptoms are congestive. So this is strain number 19, which makes it a new strain. 19 never existed before. It's mutated a 19th time, and there's rumors and allocation that it's genetically engineered. Nobody knows that for sure, but um, it's still being called COVID-19, which is coronavirus strain 19.
now
So,
I will put this up in the window here so you can read. Go ahead and read that real quick if you don't mind.
all right. I live in New York, and that's not what was said today. They are presuming it's a false count. A guy got shot in Buffalo, and that's a gunshot that he could just shot. That no, and that had, what does it say?
He had no COVID.
Gunshot. He had no COVID, just shot. Yeah, but he probably got COVID marked on his death certificate. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying too, Michael Fontaine. I'm with you on that. I
Yeah.
do think that the media is even these lower numbers. They're propagating numbers. I think that now I don't know that it's the media. I don't know. I think it's the system in general. I think that I think there's power plays and move people wanting to get. They like certain people are liking the ideas of some more stimulus checks coming out, and I know Bill Gates wants if he had it his way, we'd be locked down for 18 months until he's done coming up with a virus that everybody can be forced to take. I mean, I've heard the gambit, all of them. I just don't like to try to go down all the different rabbit holes, my man. But I'll tell you what, there's so many of them out there. You could get lost in infinity and beyond.
Oh, like Buzz Lightyear,
Exactly. I'm like, where's Woody?
right? No, I tell you what I'm going to do. I know you have something that you want to present, and if we're done with this, we could switch gears and go ahead, go ahead and present.
We need you to step out of the line and go over there to that testing station.
Right? Yeah, I do apologize for that. I didn't mean to cough on you.
Oh, but never mind. You're just gonna have to come back next week. We're out of tests.
Oh, damn.
And if you happen to die between now and then, we're putting on your death certificate, right?
Oh boy, yeah.
All right.
Okay. No, but I'm gonna go refreshing my drink, and whilst I'm doing that, do you want to talk to the audience about what you're presenting?
Heck no.
Heck no.
Nah, actually, yeah, I'll go ahead and start the little spiel. Today happens to be April the 15th, 2020. And I was looking in my news feed or whatever, and I came across an article dated April 15th, 2019, back when the news was actually covering other things besides viruses and stuff. And it was an article about how this next particular stretch of days historically is when a lot of stuff has happened. It's more I guess, for lack of a better word, tragedies have occurred in this little stretch of April the 15th through April the 22nd than most any other week on the calendar. But the thing I can't get is why. I mean, I don't really follow gematria, but I've heard those kind of guys try to make cases that, it's all in the numbers and stuff like that. And I don't know. I guess there's probably is some truth to that. A lot of times I think they're reaching, but other times it can blow your mind with some of the easy lower hanging fruit examples they can provide you. And, you hear, people, on these different conspiracy channels and whatnot try to tell you that it's some type of ritual that it has certain things have to happen on these particular dates and things of that nature. I'm not even trying to claim that either, but it is there is an interesting little amount of things that have happened on this stretch of time. So as soon as Hebrew comes back and can present, we'll go ahead and start the show. Yeah, the Titanic sunk. That is definitely an example. All right. You got it up there? That was quick. You're on the ball, my man.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I was doing that while you were talking.
Oh, okay. All right. So this particular image here is kind of a collage of different ones. But so we'll go ahead and go to the next one.
Let me know when to scroll down. I need to click on this actually. Okay. Oh, let's go back. Oh, whoa.
I know, I'm having the same look. All right, here we go.
Wait, no, don't. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Just let me know when to stop.
But you got to go to the second image. I can't see what you're seeing.
Really?
Yeah, hold on a second. I'm waiting on my page to load.
Okay, well, there's Lincoln. Let's see here. Oh.
All right, yeah, stop on Lincoln.
One. This is the collage right here.
Yeah, okay. I'm waiting on it to load.
Oh.
Okay, here we go. All right, you're at Lincoln? All right.
No. At the collage, the beginning.
All right. Okay. Americans this week are remembering anniversaries of the plant explosions in West Texas, top left, the bombing of the Boston Marathon, bottom right. However, the span of April 4th through April 20th is one that's been filled with tragedies for Americans throughout history. And we're going to look at a few different events that have happened in this infamous 7-day span in America. Go ahead and go to the next one.
Let's here's the Frozen I believe this is the Donner Party.
Yes. It's we're going back to I think it's the oldest to the most recent. So yeah, this is the Donner Party, and I've heard of this, but I don't really know much about it. But it says here on April 14th, 1846, the Reed and Donner families leave Missouri, headed to California for a new life. Along the way, they get lost in present-day Utah and Nevada. Winter storms beset them. Supplies run low, and the trip intended to be over by the fall stretches into the winter in the high western mountains. Out of food, some members of the party resort to cannibalism. Oh my gosh. Of the already dead to stay alive. Only 48 members of the 87 party make it to California. And that refreshes my memory how I heard about it there at the bun of like cannibalism jokes. But
yeah, I remember that actually. The movie Patch Adams, there was the cannibalism joke where he has a skeleton, and he says Donner Party of 5.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now that raises important moral dilemmas right there. I mean, you have to think these people are just normal people like you and me. They're just trying to survive. When it comes down to it, and that's the only way to live. I mean, what do you do?
Right. I mean,
I'm not saying I would just be ready to take make a human hot dog or anything, but at the same time, I mean, I would probably, I don't know. Well, you think you would eat one of the horses first, right?
I was getting ready to say that. I would think they would eat the horses first. Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to say that I would, but I don't know that I can honestly say that I wouldn't, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
Just saying. Yeah. True. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Let me go on to the next. Blank. Oh, well, there's Lincoln.
Yep. Lincoln was assassinated April 14th, 1865. I think we all know that story.
I know that story very well. It goes like this. Abraham Lincoln was a good old man, jumped out the window with his dick in his hand, said, "Pardon me, ma'am, just doing my duty. Now bend over and give me some booty." Oh, wait.
I never heard that one before, but something tells me I'm never going to forget it.
That's the story I heard. Now I don't know. It could be.
All right.
It could be fake news.
It might be.
It's late, people. You only hear this on the air when we're not on Shifty Sunday. By the way.
Right. Yeah. This is the late night with Hebrew and Sagi. Aren't you glad you signed up for it?
Okay, go ahead, brother.
All right. Well, I don't really have anything to add to that. I don't see me following that up with anything.
Okay.
All right. So, image 4, we got Black Sunday. This is nothing like Black Friday. I can guarantee you that.
Okay. Is this the one with the tornado or dust clouds or whatever it is?
Yeah, I guess. I don't really know. I'm about to read it and find out.
Okay.
April 14th, 1935, the infamous Black Sunday storm rolls through Texas and Oklahoma, causing untold damage and leading hundreds of thousands of Dust Bowl residents to relocate. I've heard of Black Sunday, and I think there's a couple other reasons why they've had Black this and Black that, but that one I never knew before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's a good image, though. That's probably a rare photo.
Oh, it probably is, man. Where did you get most of these images?
It's part of this article. It says their photo is from the Historic Adobe Museum. So,
okay,
it's so rare. It's kept in the museum.
Wow. So it must be like one of the only photos, almost.
Yeah, I would say probably. All right, let's go on to the next one.
On to the next one, blank page, and then a helicopter flying towards the sun. I got to tell you, this kind of reminds me of what was that TV show that was on China Beach?
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. Okay, I can see that. But this is the Black Hawk incident. I'm sure you're familiar with the movie Black Hawk Down.
Yes, I've seen that movie.
Well, that's what that's about. It's April 14th, 1994. Two military Black Hawk helicopters, not pictured, are shot down over the streets in Erbil, Iraq. 26 people on board are killed, including military and civilians.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a big deal. I remember when that came across the news.
I don't remember when this came across the news, but I remember the movie being talked about like several times. Like it was always, it was the butt of many parody jokes at the time. I do remember that.
Right.
I won't say what, but go on.
You'll sing us the Abraham Lincoln song, but you won't tell us the parody jokes. Well, at least we know where you draw the line.
Right. Well,
I got a good gauge on your moral compass now.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know, man. If it was later, probably.
Okay. Give you about another hour and a six pack.
Right.
All right.
Okay, moving on.
All right. I think somebody in chat mentioned this one.
Mm-hmm. The whole Titanic incident. And I tell you what, man, this whole Titanic incident surrounded by controversy. I'm sure we're not going to go into that rabbit hole.
We could make a whole show just talking about the Titanic. People have done this, and it's about how long it takes.
Maybe we should do that one day. You know, we always come across something that we say we could make a whole show about it, but we never do it.
Well, I don't know about never, but we rarely do it.
Yeah.
All right. So the RMS Titanic finally sinks after hitting an iceberg the night before. As many as 1,637 passengers and crew members are killed. The best conspiracy theory that I've heard about this Titanic, I just recently heard it on like a late night podcast or something. But you know how there was a novel of about a big ship, kind of named something similar to the Titanic. I can't think of what the name of it was now.
The Titan.
The Titan, yeah. Well, that novel supposedly gave I forget who it was now. I can't believe his name. But one of these rich guys like Rockefeller or one of those kind of guys, you know what I'm saying? They were trying to somebody was trying not to get us to go. It was going to be the alternative to the Federal Reserve that we ended up settling on, that we have now, the Federal Reserve that makes all of our money and our promissory notes and whatnot. But apparently the opposition, the competitors for who was going to get to do that versus them was on the Titanic. And they're saying that this guy read that book called The Titan and came up with the whole way of trying to make sure that these people were on this boat. He was even supposed to get on it and backed off at the last minute and decided not to. How much truth to that there is, I have no idea. But it really did. It's plausible. That's what I'll give the theory. It's a plausible theory because, there really is a book, and really things really do carry out very similar to how they did in the book. And those people were on the boat, and I don't know. It's just something to make you, give you something to think of. Yeah, give you something to think about. That's all it is. I know I'm not. I know I keep trying to act like I'm not a conspiracy theorist while I keep telling you guys conspiracy theories.
Right. It's like, I don't know. That's what I do.
I'm really not trying to pitch you on them. I just thought it was an interesting one, so I thought I'd share.
All right.
Let's move on to the next one.
Moving on to the next. We've got, I don't know what this is.
The Great Mississippi Flood.
Oh, okay. Now I know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, where were you at in 1927?
I don't know. Probably in a bar somewhere, smoking a joint, drinking a beer.
Okay. On April 15th,
Oh wait,
1927.
wait. No, they were going through prohibition, right?
Huh?
Prohibition.
Oh, in 1927? Yeah. I
Yeah.
guess yeah, I don't know. They might have been.
So I wouldn't have been in a saloon anywhere.
No, you had just been at home fermenting your own, I guess.
Oh yeah.
15 inches of rain falls in New Orleans, bringing a Mississippi River already swollen from heavy rains upstream beyond its capacity. The river levee systems pop in more than 140 places. Do I sound like the alarmist guy a little bit?
No, I think you're doing this in a calm and quiet manner.
All right. I
Yeah.
was trying to I was kind of going for like a mild tone of that, but all right, let me start over. River levee systems pop in more than 140 places, causing flooding in 10 states and killing 246 people. How about that?
There you go. Yeah,
All
you
right.
sound more like that. But you got to say, it was not proved to be from this flooding.
Yeah, but they
It
were presumed to have died from coronavirus.
yeah. No, man, but yeah, go on.
All right, next image, because 1927 was so long ago, even my grandpa forgot it. You ready?
I'm ready. Oh, what's this?
We don't like to say this on. This is one of those ones where you got to say a code word. We'll just call it the BMB. April 15th, 2013. Three people are killed when two pressure cooker BMBs go off in a terrorist attack during the Boston race.
Kind of hard to say it without actually saying it, but yeah.
During that really long race they run.
During that really long race that goes on for a certain amount of time, sure.
But in this particular instance, only two of the three people were presumed to have died from the coronavirus.
Oh, okay.
All right, image 9 of 22. Again, this is just so amazing that so many of these things happened in this little stretch of time. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh, you want me to get the next image up?
Yeah, you might as well.
All right. We got here. What do we got here? A mine explosion?
Yeah, Texas City explosion. April 16th, 1947. The SS Grand Camp explodes at 9:12 a.m. in Texas City, killing more than 575 people. That really is tragic. I mean, look,
Oh,
you can just tell from that picture that that is not fake news. I mean, that's real deal right there, my man. They don't have mannequins like you see on TV nowadays.
oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you can tell.
Check out his helmet, the guy in the front there, or his helmet hat.
Helmet hat. Yeah, I've seen those. Actually, I think it wasn't on the same day, of course, but somewhere in my area, we had the same exact sort of tragedy occur where a mine exploded and killed lots of people. And
Really?
yes, around the
You know,
same
it's funny
year.
you say that. Where I'm from, the town I grew up in, we had a paper factory, and it caught on fire back in the early '70s, and it was a big deal. It made a big impact on our whole town.
Oh wow, yeah. In fact, my grandma talks about she knew some people that was killed during that explosion. I think her dad or somebody of that nature was working in that mine and was supposed to had just he had either just left or he was about to go on, and I think he was down at the local pub or whatever just before that tragedy happened.
Huh. Yeah, it's one of those things, man. It really is.
So, yeah, I mean, seems like all these horrifying events happen around the same day on the same, not the same time, but same day.
All within this week, yeah. This little 7 stretch of days. I was trying to come up with a theory like of my own. Like maybe it has something to do with like the like how do I explain it? Like how like when the Earth is like in a certain axis point or tilt or electromagnetation or something, but it has to be consistent year in and year out. And the only thing I can think of is it's like this is like the week after Easter, and it's the week after when I think that maybe there's like magic in the air or some type of like frequency in the air that makes it easier for bad things to happen. Have you ever been in a situation or a room or just somewhere and you feel that kind of electricity, like something bad could happen, something bad might happen?
Yeah.
Like a gut feeling?
Yeah. You can feel that heaviness sort of in the air.
Yeah, like that's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
I think for whatever reason, that kind of energy is like stronger during this little stretch of time every year. For whatever reason, I don't know why. But it's just I just don't really believe in coincidences. That's just too the number is just too much higher than it is compared to any other week of the year.
I've got some questions from the audience that I'll read to you real quick while we're going over this. Michael Fontaine wants to know if that was the fertilizer explosion in the harbor.
That's a good question. I can try to Google it to find out. All I have is the information that's in front of me.
And
Texas City explosion. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Euler Greg mentions that his sister lives in Texas City, and after he said that, he said, "Dad remembered that explosion very well."
Yeah, it says here it was a industrial accident that occurred in the port of Texas City. It just keeps saying the word industrial.
Mm-hmm. Like over and over again.
Yeah, I see. The fire started on board the French registered vessel, the SS Grand Camp, docked in the port, and detonated her cargo, approximately 2,200 tons of ammonium nitrate, which I guess you would say is fertilizer, yeah. And it started a chain reaction of additional fires and explosions and other ships and nearby storage facilities.
Well,
and here it says 581 people were killed. And there was 8,485 victims. People that were injured, had some type of injury.
Let me go ahead and
did you? Yeah, let's go ahead and go to the next one, I guess.
Let me click on to the next one. I gotta clean up a mess here on my desk. I just killed a bug, and it's quite disgusting.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, this is a terrible picture to leave me looking at.
Huh?
I said, this is a terrible picture.
Well, that's what was up there.
Are you on the Virginia Tech?
Oh, I don't know what this one is, sir.
Well, what do you see?
People crying at each other.
Yeah, you're on Virginia Tech. That's April 16th, 2007. A gunman kills 32 people, then himself on the campus of Virginia Tech in Blacksburg, Virginia, and another 23 are injured.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's one of those ones where um, back in 2007, the internet really wasn't a buzz yet. So, I mean, you had internet, but it just wasn't as high tech as it is now as far as social media and things of that nature.
Yeah, I was just thinking the other day, how weird is it now when we think back on our lives, the way our lives were back in the 80s, or even back in the early 90s, or even late 90s. Who would have ever imagined that we would have had internet on our phones and been able to send pictures on our phones and all that stuff?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I remember as a child watching Star Trek, thinking those phasers. I would never have anything like that in my lifetime. Like the way they would talk to each other with their
Oh, they're communicators, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, granted, we had CBs back then, but as soon as you walked to 3 yards down, you couldn't hear anybody unless you had a really good trucking kind. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm just talking about your standard walkie-talkies.
But do we have any more on here? Oh, yeah, there's one.
Yeah, we'll go to the next one. I don't want to look at the crying girls any longer than I have to.
No, that's very unsettling.
The Bay of Pigs invasion, April 17th, 1961. The Bay of Pigs invasion of Cuba by CIA-sponsored military group is launched. 3 days later, the invaders are defeated. Casualties include 118 dead, 360 wounded, and 1,202 captured. There's a lot of controversy around that as well. And I don't want to say conspiracy theories, but different underlying motives and plots and power plays going on in that whole thing.
I don't mean to make this out to be a light joke or anything, but when I was a kid and I heard about the Bay of Pigs incident, I always, for some reason, imagined a bunch of pigs actually being involved in there somehow. Like they slaughtered.
That's not crazy. I was a kid when I heard about it too, and yeah. I didn't understand why they called it that either.
Yeah. So,
I imagine that it had something to do with pigs as well. Why else would they call it that?
Right. That's what I always thought. And now, when you think about it, I mean, when you're a little kid, you can also possibly imagine maybe Miss Piggy going batshit insane and then killing a bunch of people.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
The guy sticking his head up out of the tank there.
Yeah.
With the glasses on and the beard.
Sure.
You see him? Do you think he's the gunner? You think he's got good aim with those glasses on?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I was thinking that myself. He looks more like a movie director than he does like a gunner for a major tank or something.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. He does. He looks like he should be hanging out in Los Angeles instead of wherever this is.
Right. The Bay of Pigs.
Well, he's probably CIA. That's probably what it is.
Oh, yeah. They have to wear glasses. Oh, boy. So we got this.
All right. Do you have the San Francisco earthquake?
Is that what all these devastating buildings?
Yep.
Okay.
More than 3,000 people were killed by a 7.8 magnitude earthquake back in April 18th, 1906.
Wait. I don't think that's what this is.
Oh.
Can you see it? This can't be.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, this can't be.
I don't know how I got that far ahead. It's like it just there it goes again. Hold on. It's like there's something on my screen or something. Hold on a second. You're like, I don't think that's what this is.
Right. Oh, this.
All right, if I can get it to stop here. All right. Yeah, no, this is April 17th, 2013.
Huh?
The West Plant explosion.
Oh, this is a fertilizer explosion as well, huh?
Quite possibly. 15 people are killed and more than 160 are injured following an ammonium nitrate explosion. Yeah, what's up with this ammonium nitrate?
I know, right? It's like it almost makes me concerned about keeping fertilizer in my garage.
I know, right? Your kid comes home and says, "Hey, Dad, I got a job at the ammonium nitrate plant."
Right now.
You're like, what? Were they hiring as a bouncer down at the strip club or something?
Right. No. Oh man. Maybe. I don't know.
That seems like a safer job. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Michael Fontaine says something about 89, but I don't know where that comes from.
We'll read it. Read the whole comment.
Okay, well let's read. I must have missed some comments. This guy came in. Let's see if I can pronounce his name. Linear Les Affectador. I know I butchered that name. I do apologize. Michael Fontaine says Castro, 1989, and I don't know what the context is because I just know he was talking about the fertilizer explosion. Then he talks about Castro.
Oh, okay. I think he was talking about the Bay of Pigs.
Oh yeah, well Castro was the big dude, the head cheese at that time, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He had much involvement into the Bay of Pigs. Dude, I got something to tell you. Oh, never mind. What's this?
What do you see?
Is this what's his name saying the Yankees are coming?
Yeah. How do you remember it? Is it the British are coming, the Red are coming, or the Yankees are coming?
I kind of remember him running up and down the street saying, "The British are coming! The British are coming!"
Yeah, that's how I remember it too. Yeah. Apparently, that's a Mandela effect now.
Oh, really? What's the effect?
Apparently now he says the Red are coming.
The Redcoats?
Yeah, I guess it's the Redcoats. Maybe that's what he's saying.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because I'm trying to remember the reason why they said he said that. Apparently he didn't want to tip off the spies or something. I don't know exactly. But I don't know. I'd have to go look it up again. I don't remember off the top of my head.
I know on Beavis and Butthead, and this is a weird reference, but in the Beavis and Butthead cartoon, I remember watching this a few years ago. They had Paul Revere sort of like, but it was Butthead as Paul Revere, and he was running down the street on his horse going, "The Yiddish are coming. The Yiddish are coming." So I don't know how, but I do remember that. That would be residue, no?
Yeah, sure. I mean, if the Simpsons can be residue, why can't Beavis and Butthead?
That's what I thought, yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, this is back in 1775.
1775.
April 18th. And it's quoting it as the British are coming. So we're going to go with that one for now. How's that sound?
That sounds good to me, brother.
All right, this is the one I was looking at before when you said The San Francisco earthquake.
Well, yeah. Should I skip to the San Francisco earthquake, or are we doing this one still?
Well, this happened April 18th, 1906. More than 3,000 people were killed by a 7.8 magnitude earthquake, resulting in fires in San Francisco.
Is it this one?
It's a black and white photo of a house or a big building kind of half hanging
Right.
there.
That's what I have.
All right. Let's go on to the next one.
All right. Oh man, look at that!
I know, right?
That building just came crashing down. Let's see. What's this one? I'll read it to you real quick.
The U.S. Embassy bombing in Beirut.
The good old Beirut bombing.
April 18th, 1983. I would have been about 12 years old. 63 people were killed, including 17 Americans, when a suicide bomber in Lebanon drives a van filled with explosives into the American embassy. Those look like the same guys that were trying to catch the professor, and him and Marty went back in time.
Oh, that reminds me of Euler Greg comments. He said, was always redcoats are coming in his dimension. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. He saw this redcoats. So is the Mandela effect changed from redcoats to British?
Well, I guess it really depends on what reality you're from then, huh?
I guess so. Yeah, because I always remembered the British are coming. In fact, besides the Beavis and Butthead cartoon, I believe there was also a Bugs Bunny cartoon which mentions the same thing.
Well, there's a famous I don't know if it's it's a written document, like a tale. I'm trying to remember the name of the book or the name of the. But in that particular thing, he says he says the British are coming in the story, in the way that the story is read. It's like a Charles Dickens type novel type thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, I can look it up real quick.
Oh yeah, you go ahead and do that. I'll be right back.
All right.
We got to find some way. Maybe I should play some music to keep the audience entertained. Too late.
Silence. I can't find it. They keep wanting to. There's a book of the same title, and it keeps wanting to sell me the books. I'm not going to be able to do it live on the air.
Oh, okay. Well, we can, the information's out there if people want to look it up for themselves or.
Yeah, that's true. It'd be just as easy if they really want to know. I think there's been a few videos made about it too, but.
But
this is back in April 18th, 1983. And a suicide bomber in Lebanon drives a van filled with explosives into the American embassy. 63 people were killed, including 17 Americans.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned Back to the Future earlier, and it sounds like the kind of van they would have.
Yeah.
Just imagine the Libyans driving
Yeah,
the
that's
yeah,
what they're called in the movie. Yeah,
yeah.
I was just trying to be funny though.
Oh, I know, man. So was I just now. Oh my gosh, what is this? Hold
We
on.
got the USS Iowa,
Ah, okay.
April 19th.
April
The
19th.
sixth. Yep, April 19th, 1989.
You know, my youngest sister was born April 19th.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I think that might have been either 87 or 86, somewhere in there.
All right.
Go on.
A
Oh,
16-inch turret on a Navy battleship stationed off Puerto Rico unexpectedly explodes, killing 47 seamen in the ship's gunroom and wounding the ship.
hmm. Now, um, was this? No, this was 89 or 80, 88 or 89.
89.
89. And you know, I actually don't remember this instance, but I was only about probably 11 years old, 11 or 12 when this happened.
Right? That was the year I graduated high school.
Oh wow, you're way older than me, man.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah,
I'm an old man.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, I remember Batman came out in '89, and so did Ghostbusters 2.
Sounds about right.
Just a little bit of history for you. But sure, this was a horrible incident, you know.
Yeah. And we're trucking around to the final few here. We only got about eight or nine more to go.
Oh, really? 8 or 9? Is that all?
Yeah.
Is this Waco?
No, actually only 5 or 6. I apologize.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
the Waco siege.
hey, I got a question for you. Have you
We're
ever
saying like all the things like that YouTube never wants anyone to say on YouTube.
Well,
but we're just reading the facts, you know.
right, just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts. But you know, let me ask you this: have you ever seen that movie? I think it's called what's it called? Mako and Waco, or the Waco disaster. Either that, or it's called. It was on the Paramount channel a couple of years ago. It's called the David Koresh story, and I think the name of it was a Wacko and Waco or something like that. I don't know, but it's actually a really good movie.
Okay.
It documents this whole incident with David Koresh.
I can see how that would be interesting.
And I can remember when this incident happened, I think I was sitting in a classroom and it came up on Channel 1. Did you guys have Channel 1 ever?
No, I never had a Channel 1, but I can see how that would have been the case. You would have been about that age. And this was a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
This was like one of the first times when people had to have conversations about, you know, civil liberties versus government. You know, not saying he was right or he was wrong, or that the way that they handled it, the way they busted in, the way that innocent people
it all wrong. You know, they had several times where they could have busted him right there on the street. They could have pulled him to the side. They had a lot of times to arrest him.
Yeah, a lot of people felt like they made an example out of him just to deter anybody from thinking they're ever going to send up some type of encampment, you know, and that we're not going to be able to come in and get you.
And you know, the whole thing was started just because they knew he was selling guns. Like he had permits to do it, and you could sell guns in Texas. I think at that time, the restrictions weren't as strict back in those days.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it was a 51-day standoff.
mm-hmm.
4 federal agents and 6 members of the Branch Davidian religious group were killed. February 28, 1993, when the ATF attempted to raid a set compound outside of Waco, Texas. After a 51-day standoff, the government led a final assault. Hold on. And on the compound, resulting in 76 deaths. The final assault occurred on April 19th, 1993.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Is like, you know, they found all those guns. And I think the one thing that the FBI, the reason why they actually went after him was because there was a news story going on at that time, I think a few months prior to this, where a guy had his whole family locked up in a what they call it, kind of like a camp. It was like he had all this camp, and they were trying to get the guy out of there, and that whole situation went horribly bad, where they ended up killing the guy and his entire family, and it was just a huge embarrassment on the part of the FBI, and that's the reason why the FBI started investigating this, was to turn the attention away from their recent embarrassment.
Oh, okay. And then ended up embarrassing themselves even more after this happened.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, this was all supposed to be a distraction. They thought they were going to get this guy, and you know, they thought they were going to get him pretty easily and get him out of there, and there would be no just the whole thing is just, I mean, it can lead you down a pretty damn good rabbit hole, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, there was a lot of controversy surrounding this. I remember a lot of people were talking.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first time when you really had to question the authority of the government, if Big Brother was really on your side or not.
And the other thing is, they actually had an opportunity to pull him out of the house. He stood right next to the window and had his hands up and said, "Hey, we're not armed. We don't have any guns in here. We're not, you know." They made up and lied about the fact that they were shooting at some of the agents that were trying to come in through the windows. And
yeah, I heard all those reports. I know what you're saying. I can tell you've definitely watched that documentary.
Oh, I've watched several documentaries on this, man. I'll tell you what, I know more about this than I do the SSM Titanic. You know.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a symbolic moment. It was a big deal. The media covered this a lot harder than they were ever able to cover. You know, a lot of these other things that were mentioned, simply because, you know, cable television was really kind of on their A game back then, and they could pick a story like this, and with it having that 51-day standoff, best believe day in and day out for 51 days, you were getting breaking news, live coverage, you know, up to the minute, talking heads telling you everything you needed to know, and then some.
Now, let me ask you this, if you know this or not. Was this around about the same time of the O.J. Simpson thing, too?
Yeah, it was actually. It was about a year before it.
Mm-hmm. And if I'm not mistaken, that whole O.J. Simpson is what started Court TV.
Well, it made Court TV a channel, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And this was mentioned on Court TV as well. Anyway, I guess we should probably move on. I mean, we could talk about this incident for hours.
Right, yeah, let's keep it moving. I don't really have too much more to say about this. The information's out there. Like, if anybody's interested in there's documentaries, there's plenty more information out there if you're interested in finding out more.
Oh yeah, this is going to make me want to go back and watch that movie again, man. I recommend that movie for anyone that's out there listening. It's a really good movie, I'm telling you.
All right.
And the guy that played the part of David Koresh, he looked exactly like him. I mean, it was almost as though David Koresh had come back to life and showed up to make his own movie.
No, there you go.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll move on to this thing.
All right.
Oklahoma City bombing.
Yep. April 19th, 1995.
Just 2 years after the whole Waco deal, huh?
Yeah.
Mm.
Same day.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. April 19th again.
More than 160 people were killed and almost 700 more injured when domestic terrorists sets off a bomb in the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City. More than 320 buildings nearby also suffered some damage.
Oh, by the way, Michael Fontaine says he's getting sleepy and wishes us a good night. So I just wanted to say good night to him.
Yeah, thanks for being here and sticking with us. You almost made it to the end, and we're thankful for you, Michael Fontaine. Have a good night.
You know, I remember when this Oklahoma City bombing happened, that was all over the news as well. And wasn't there a guy called the Unabomber? Was he the one responsible for this?
No, that's something totally different.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
the Unabomber, he was sending packages through the mail.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Next.
Yeah, this was a big deal too. I mean, I don't really know what to say about this except for, I mean, look at that devastation. That was just caused by him being able to pull up in a vehicle that had ammonium nitrate in it.
Oh, no, not again.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So if it's the week of April 15th through April the 20th or 22nd, that's not a good time to fertilize your garden, people.
Right. Yeah.
I don't care what the experts say. Stay away from ammonium nitrate plants, ammonium nitrate aisle in the store.
Yeah.
Just steer clear of it. I'm telling you, it's not a good idea.
And now, is this the last one here? April 20th, 1914, the Ludlow Massacre.
No, but approximately 25 striking coal miners and members of their families were killed in a clash with the Colorado National Guard and Colorado Fuel and Iron Company. I mean, you should know better than to mess with the Colorado Fuel and Iron Company. Even I don't have much sense about me, but I would know better than do something like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, yeah, you don't mess with Colorado, period.
Right.
You know?
All right. I don't know anything about this, but it happened on April 20th, 1914.
Oh, wow.
All right. Go to the next one.
The next one. Here we go.
The Columbine school shooting. Two students enter Columbine High School in a Denver suburb and open fire, killing two students, a coach, and then themselves.
Now, let me ask you this. Was this the what they called the trench coat mafia?
No, that was I don't believe so. I never heard that for them before.
That's what they said, that they walked in with trench coats.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe that is true. I honestly don't know.
The guy had I believe this is about the time the internet was kind of, it was there, it was getting started, so he was writing blogs and stuff of how he wanted to how everyone was picking on him, and you know, he wanted to go in and shoot up the entire school. And I remember this very, very well, this whole incident going down. I mean, that was all over the news, much like all the other stuff we've mentioned here tonight.
Yeah, this happened on April the 20th.
And I don't know if you've ever
I
seen
see.
that.
You see him in that image there? He's got.
Hold
Looks
on.
like he's wearing a white mask, maybe,
Yeah, could be.
or is that just the glare? I'm not really sure.
I don't remember there being any mask, so that could very well be a glare. Let me ask you this real quick. Have you ever seen the documentary called Bowling for Columbine? I think it was,
By Michael Moore. Yeah, but it's been
yeah.
so long, I don't even really remember it.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's another good documentary that people can go and research, that talks about this and almost detail. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
Vivid detail. Yeah.
it covers it from top to bottom, head to toe.
Oh yeah. Sore toe.
Sorta.
Never mind. um. So what was it? Was I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you while you're talking about these. By the way.
No, you're not interrupting me at all.
All right. Cool. So if we're done with this one, we'll go to the next.
All right.
Oh, I remember this. Now, I got to tell you something. I thought that this was the Valdez. Was this the Valdez oil spill?
You know that was an oil spill. Now, was that the same one as this one? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I thought that the captain was drunk in that incident, supposedly. And I don't know, ended up hitting another ship. Well, I'll let you read it. I'll let you go ahead and read the whole thing.
Give me just a second.
Oh, okay. But I also remember this being a movie called The Valdez Disaster.
I'm familiar with the Valdez oil spill, but I think that one has its. You would think they would have just typed that on here if it was, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
This happened on April 20th as well, 2010. Exactly 10 years ago to the day. Well, if today was April the 20th. A wellhead blowout on a BP operated oil platform kills 11 and dumps 210 million gallons of oil into the Gulf of Mexico. What I do remember about this is how Dawn dishwashing liquid came into play. It was a big deal.
Yes, I remember all the commercials. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, even to this day, they show commercials of Dawn dishwashing liquid being used to wipe off ducks.
Yeah, well, they show a picture of those ducks, and they use them to get the oil off of animals that are in oil spills, because that Dawn dishwashing liquid is the best. Proceeds from any sale, if you buy the certain type of Dawn, will go toward that cause.
I got to tell you, that stuff really works, man. There's been times where I've worked on my car or maybe had a very dirty job to do. And I'll tell you what, man, if you want to take the oil off your hands after you've changed your oil or you've worked on your car in any capacity, that stuff really does work, man. It's like a degreaser.
Yeah, for sure. It also is good for getting like oil stains off your driveway and things of that nature.
For sure, man. It works. I'll tell you what, it works a lot better than lava soap. Do you remember lava soap?
Yeah, that's the stuff that they actually encourage you to get if you're a mechanic or something like that.
Yeah.
It's got grit in it. Like scrubbing agents, like hard things are built into the soap.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but Dawn dishwashing liquid works better than that stuff. Just saying. Just saying.
All right.
So yeah, I don't think this is the Valdez or whatever you want to call it. You would think, like you said, that this would be mentioned, but I'm pretty sure that happened around the same time.
Yeah, it hasn't been. They're not too far removed from each other, most likely. I just don't think the other one happened during the week of April 15th through April the 22nd.
Oh wait, this incident occurred in 2010. I think the Valdez oil spill happened in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
So okay, I was wrong. Well, moving on.
Yep, we're almost done.
32 and 33. Here's what is this?
Are you looking at the big flag?
Yes, sir.
All right. It is a horrifying week of April 14th through 20th has been in American history. The country has also had some of its greatest moments as well. And here are a few. Well, and then it doesn't say anything.
Huh. Now wait a second. There. It says it right
Here it is. Here it is. I found it.
Mm-hmm.
April 14th, the first Abolition Society is formed. The first commercial movie house opens in New York City. The Grapes of Wrath is published. And the Human Genome Project is completed. April 15th, the preliminary articles of peace ending the American Revolutionary War are ratified. In 1783, Jackie Robinson breaks the color barrier in Major League Baseball. McDonald's opens its first franchise restaurant in 1955. And the Ford Mustang debuts in 1964. All that happened on April the 15th.
Wow. Another good documentary, or actually a good movie to watch about McDonald's, if you want to learn all about the history of McDonald's, is The Founder with Michael Keaton.
Oh, yeah, I did watch that. It is a good movie.
For sure. Okay, go on. I'm sorry.
All right, we'll go on to April 16th. Boston Garden, America's oldest hockey arena, opens in 1910. On April 17th, back in 1973, George Lucas starts writing Star Wars.
Huh. Okay.
April 18th, Paul Revere takes his midnight ride. And
there we go. Yeah.
1775. How's that make the good list and the bad list?
Right? I don't know. By the way, Michael Fontaine said that the Valdez oil spill happened in 89.
Oh, okay.
So I was way off.
And then you have April 19th. Americans earn their first Revolutionary War victory over the British in the Battle of Lexington and Concord.
And of course, the greatest one of all, The Simpsons premieres on as a cartoon short on the Tracy Ullman Show, 1987, April.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
And the Civil Rights Act of 1871 becomes law.
Oh, well, I guess that would be better than The Simpsons, but not in my book.
All right. Yeah, civil rights, schmivel rights. Who needs those?
We got The Simpsons. Oh, man. I'll tell you. Okay, so oh, that's not all, is it?
No, we're done. We're done with that bit.
Mm-hmm. And whoops, what happened? Sir, there's no picture on here.
Oh
no. Americans this week are remembering the anniversaries of the plant explosion in West Texas and the bombing of the you know what race, the Boston race. However, the span of April 14th through the 20th is one that has been filled with tragedies throughout American history globally. April 15th will be remembered as the day one of the world's most famous cathedrals burned in Paris. And then there's no picture here of the Notre Dame Cathedral.
Okay, where did you find this?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, we're done with that particular thing. You can close it now. We did them all.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what the heck was going on there. Well, I wonder how come they don't have a picture of the cathedral.
I don't know.
Well, there we go, folks. I'm going to go ahead and shut down the sharing is caring, and we're back. 42 comments. Holy cow. So what do you think, Sagi? Is it about time to start wrapping up this sailboat?
Yeah, I guess so. If you want to give them another shout out real quick.
I'll do one last shout out, and then we'll get on with our final thoughts.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, cool. All right, scrolling up now. We've had Euler Greg in the house for a long time. Linear Less Effector. I hope I said that name right. They were here. Of course, Lorraine Lamore was here earlier with, her idea for our contest. Let's see. And of course, he's been talking pretty much this whole time. Michael Fontaine.
Michael Fontaine.
And Preliminal was here, but he thinks we're all just a bunch of drunkens.
Right.
No, he's just having a bad day.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be fine.
Sure. Yeah. So, my final thoughts about all this is I'm just glad to be spending this time with you, man. This has been a very hectic week and actually a hectic couple of months. And, Count Von Strange just popped in. And I got to tell you, Count Von Strange actually has an action figure review channel, much like I do. What I was going to tell him, I haven't seen him in a while, but what I wanted to tell him is I actually have a new channel that deals with only action figure reviews, and maybe I'll start doing some cartoon reviews on that channel as well. But let me get the link to that real quick. I'm going to have to leave the room, and I'll get the link to my other channel, and I'll be right back.
All right.
You just got to go to YouTube. You go ahead. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
Who's the other guy?
Oh, Cringer.
But he's too scared. He never wants to speak up. I can hardly ever hear him.
Oh, yeah.
Who's that?
Sounds like we have an echo. But no, I'll post that. Where the heck are my subs? I mean, the ones I'm sub to. How do you find those?
I don't know.
I guess I got to go to my channel. Yeah, I'm actually sub to my own channel.
Well, that would make sense. Well, you would hope that you were probably one of the first subscribers.
Oh, I hope so, man. But hey, look, I'm trying to get my. I'm going to share a link in the description. I mean, the description. That's funny. I'm going to share a link in the chat. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
Let me. Like I said, you go ahead and amuse the audience.
Yeah, when you said I was going to share a link in the description, I mean, you hear that so often on YouTube. Can you imagine it like as a like let's say you're like out on a Tinder date or something, right? And you're you're
Right.
talking to her and you're like, "Dang, woman, you're so fine. I'd like to leave a link in your description."
Right. Now that's when you're taking it too far, I guess. I don't know. I, but like you said, I'm just so used to hearing that.
Right?
What you guys just heard is a little bit of what I. Here it is. Boom. There you go, Mr. Von Strange. You can check this out. Well, anybody can that's in there. That if you guys are interested in action figure reviews or like sort of cartoon reviews or whatever, you can check that out. And
Or if you just want to go troll his comment section, anything like that would be fine too.
right. Oh man, where'd it go? I posted the link. Are you kidding me? Did it disappear? Is it not letting me share my own links, even though I would assume I have
Do you have a wrench?
Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay. But it's actually called Hebrews Toy Reviews.
Well, I would have never have guessed it.
Yeah, who would have guessed? Oh, and Count Von Strange, when you get over there, I see you added me. When I get back over there, I got to switch my accounts. I'll sub to you, man. I'm sub to you on this platform, but Anyway, I guess that was my final thoughts.
All right. Well, that's my final thoughts as well. I thought it would be a fun and interesting topic for us to come on and talk about. I guess what I learned from the story is avoid ammonium nitrate on April 15th through April the 22nd. And if I had to speculate as to which one of those kind of things would happen this particular 2020 stretch, today being the 15th, and we have a whole week to go until it's over. Let's say we're choosing between, explosion, mass shooting. What were some of the other things that happened? Earthquake, major earthquake, some type of war, or unexpected military exercise type thing happens, like a Bay of Pigs type thing. Which one would you say is most likely to be, if any, would you say would be what we might experience in this next 7-day stretch?
Oh man, I don't know with this beer code virus going on. The government's so focused on that. There has actually been threats from Iran or Iraq or one of those dudes.
Right.
So I don't. If I had to speculate, going by the data that I have sitting in front of me, I would speculate probably a war, but I just don't see anything else happening until this whole virus thing blows over.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I would say that I can see how you would go with war, but I don't know that, like you said, that it would necessarily happen right away. It could happen maybe in the course of this year, some type of something along those lines, maybe. But you know what? There's been a lot of seismic activity and some, little 5.3s and 6 point something or others here and there, especially over on the West Coast. So I'm going to go with earthquake. I think would be the most likely one we could be in for this particular year. If we were going to have one of those kind of things, I would and I was spinning the wheel of disaster. I'd probably say it'll land on earthquake. And we getting any guesses in the chat room as to what they may? They
Well,
may be.
we didn't ask the chat, did we?
Well, let's ask. We're asking them now. Say,
Oh.
Chet, if you had to speculate on one of these particular,
What were the 4 guesses?
it would be a mass shooting, explosion, war, or earthquake, or flood. Flood was one of them too.
You know, I might change my answer to flood because I was just thinking about this. We've already had an earthquake, like you mentioned.
Right?
And, we're already going through a pandemic, so that's not going to happen. I mean, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
But yeah, let's. I'm going to change my answer to flood because it has been doing an awful lot of raining in certain areas here lately.
Yeah, that is true.
So that I changed my answer to flood, and Michael Fontaine says both.
Both what?
I don't know. I don't know.
How non-specific.
Right. I think he means like you and I both kind of said war. Well, you said earthquake. Maybe he means earthquake and flood at the same time. Yeah, that could make sense.
All right. He's doubling down.
That's right. You got to cover all your bases, man.
Yep.
I can't believe we're betting on tragedies.
We're not betting. We're guessing which one is most likely.
I know. I'm kidding, but no, seriously, man. Look, I've had a good time here tonight. I know my sleep pattern's been off. I've been staying up to weird hours. I mean, just the other night I stayed up till like 7 a.m. So, you know, I was kind of thinking about that going into this. Do I really want to do this where we don't get off till about 1 or 2, and then I know I'm not going to be able to sleep right away. I'll have one of those nights again, you know, where I stay up till 7, maybe 8 this time. You know, who knows? And then sleep all day again. You know, that happens.
Well, it sounds like you did a lot today, so maybe you'll be able to fall asleep at a decent hour.
Well, I hope so, man. Michael Fontaine says New York is a fault line, and we are by Lake Erie and Lake or Ontario. So that's why he says both.
Okay.
All right. So he was mentioning both flood and earthquake. Nice.
Yeah, one could cause the other.
Right. Oh, yeah. Hey, yeah, we never talked about that. Like, what if an earthquake could cause a flood? You know, an earthquake could crack a dam, and next thing you know, we're all living in water world.
Yeah, you got that right.
Only except it won't be Kevin Costner this time.
Right.
No, man. Michael wants to keep it going. I don't know, man. I don't know if I have anything left in me to keep it going. I think we've talked about pretty much all the topics we needed to cover tonight, unless we're just going to do silly bits the rest of the night. But I don't think that you're down with that.
Well, we have that other link I sent you if you want to talk about it.
Nah.
All right.
No, I'm pretty much I'm kind of wiped out, dude.
All right. Well, we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for stopping by, and remember that contest. What does Sagi look like? Don't forget to enter that. You may do so by sending your submissions, your drawings, as it were, to my email. So let me put the email up there real quick for people that forgot what it was. And you know, we love all you guys, whoever stopped by and watched the show, and we'll see you again real soon on Shifty Sunday. I believe will be our next show, unless we decide to go on Friday or Saturday, or who knows, we may do one tomorrow night. You know.
Yep.
Got to do something during this quarantine. Just saying.
So what kind of outro music you taking us out with?
I think I'll keep that one a surprise.
All right.
Good night from everyone here at the the Hebrew channel. You have been watching Late Night with Hebrew and Sagi. For Hebrew 77 and Sagi the Man, so long, everybody.